Demetra K, and I am sitting here with Donovan. His heart don't pump no Kool-Aid.
Never.
You guys won't see him on the live feed. You're actually going to see him on the YouTube version because we have a special guest here. And a lot of times when we have extra people here, it just kind of gets convoluted at the table. So anyway, as you see, I have a special guest here. His name is Coulter. He is a financial guru, and I'll get a little bit more introducing him in just a second. But it is always the purpose of the Demetra K Show to promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all the things that go on in the Black community. I'd also like to say a big, giant thank you to Marcus Guyton for everything he does behind the scenes. Hello to all the podcasts. Way too many to name by now. Before it was like 3 or 4 or 5.
We had like 2.
Yeah, now how many we got? Like 10?
We're on over 65 different.
Oh, wow. So there's a lot. So hello to all of you. And I said, I'm not going to keep making excuses. One day soon, we're going to figure out how to get your messages. And of course, to you on YouTube, if you haven't already, please like and subscribe to this channel for more insightful commentary. And for those of you guys on the other side of the conversation on Facebook, thank you so much for everything that you do in providing this platform for us, because not only do we learn from you guys and, you know, we teach back and forth, it's just an overall well-rounded conversation. And I promise to get to every last one of your comments. And for those of you guys that are in the watch parties, please come over my side on the Demetra K page so I can actually see all of your comments. All right,
wait. And this will be brought to you by a live studio audience.
Yes, so we got a live studio audience out there. They're not a willing live studio audience, but they're here.
Live studio
so
audience.
Anyway,
oh, you're talking about hostage kids?
Yeah, well, Walter has his kids hostage, but you know, they said they for the most part enjoy it. And I've also tagged you as well.
Okay,
so
that's good.
Anyway,
They're not hostages.
and I know I didn't say it, but thank you so much to Donovan for everything that you do behind the scenes, the production, everything.
Yes.
I couldn't do this without you.
Donovan is like Michael Jackson working day and night.
Right. All right. So let's
Trying.
go ahead and get started, right? So I have here with me, and thank you, Chantel, for sharing the link. I have here with me Coulter, who is what I consider to be a financial guru. And I also leave off that he's my brother, so I might be a little bit biased. But even if he wasn't my brother, I would say this. He is a financial master at most things, if not all, financial issues, and you name it. So please bring all your questions. He's been in the industry for about close to 30 years now. So
it ain't been that long.
Okay, because you know okay,
that grade showing.
25, 26.
Possibilities.
25, 26. Walter wants everybody to think that he's just, you know, young, happening grandpa. But anyway.
1997 is when I started working
so how
for
long
American
was that?
Express. 22 years
20,
ago.
okay, 22
35,
years. So
and, you know, 22.
I'm embellishing. So anyway, Walter has been in the industry for a very long time. He has worked with entities like American Express, then Ameriprise, his own businesses. He's worked with people like Kanye West and a whole host of other entertainers and athletes. So this dude has been all over the place. He's also a world traveler. He's been there. Are you going somewhere soon?
Going to Cuba this weekend.
He's going to Cuba this weekend.
That's just that.
We're going to be following.
So,
but I'm going to get cigars.
Right.
The point that I'm making is, for you guys that are watching, please do not leave. Please bring all of your questions. It is our goal to answer every last one of your financial questions. And so he's going to be helping us answer questions that will help us in the Black community to progress to the next level. What is the next level? Past where we are, which is the bottom. That's not a secret. It's not me being mean or malicious or anything. We are at the bottom of everything. I brought a few books to help me back up what I'm saying if I need to. I got The Message to the Black Man by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, who has given us the blueprint for Black financial success in changing our situation. I also have Powernomics by Dr. Claude Anderson, who also outlines a plan for us as Black people to climb from the bottom of the barrel in every way, shape, or form. And so I was going to read some stuff from it, but I won't for time's sake. And so I'm going to, well, maybe I will read something. That way it'll just give us a platform. Donovan, did you want to say something?
No, I'm just Sitting here.
Okay.
Making sure all the 65 networks are running.
Okay, so this right here, it says the economic blueprint. So in the message to the black man, I'm a doctor. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches black people that we need to have knowledge of self, basically know who we are, where we came from, where we need to be, what we need to do as black people to be successful here. Now, mind you, this book was written, I think it was 1965. Now, I'm going to read you something, and it's going to sound like he wrote it today. And so he says, the black man in America faces a serious economic problem today, and the white racist Christianity cannot solve it. You, the so-called Negro, with the help of Allah, can solve your own problems. The truth must be recognized by the black man. He himself has assisted greatly in creating the serious problems of unemployment, insecurity, and lack. Before the black man can begin to gain economic security, he must awaken from the dead and gain knowledge, understanding, and wisdom, which will enable him to follow my teachings. This was the Honorable Elijah Muhammad in 1965, and so he also outlines some things that we can do. One of those things being recognize the necessity for unity and group operations, activities, pool your resources physically as well as financially, stop wanton criticism of everything that is black owned and black operated. Keep in mind, jealousy destroys from within. 5, observe the operations of the white man. He is successful. He makes no excuses for his failures. He works hard in a collective manner. You do the same. Right?
Yeah.
So,
and I'm gonna start on that.
Okay, go right ahead. Jump right on in. So,
it's funny. Growing up, me and my 2 hostage kids here.
Hey, Patrick.
we had a conversation about religion and all that, and so I do want to touch on that real brief. And I'm glad you brought up the white man, because I want to talk about that. So 2 things. One, when it comes to religion, I think too many people use religion as a crutch. You know, God doesn't give out Grammys, or he doesn't give out MBA scholarships. He doesn't, he or she, whatever it is, because most likely God is probably a woman, right? For a whole bunch of reasons.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna leave that alone. So a lot of times we rely on hope and religion. We my kids, we were talking about the Vatican Church and some of these big institutions where people put all their faith, and I'm not saying don't put your faith in God, but like a lot of religions say, you got to do the work too. So I think 1 is you need to be responsible, number 1. 2, he says something about being like the white man. I want to address this because it always comes up. Like, either 1, our issue is related because the white man held us down, and that there was a lot of truth to that. Back then, I don't know how much of it's going on now.
It's still true.
But there's still some, but we have more control over our lives. 1 and 2, and then as far as we're talking about the white man has been successful regardless of how he got there. There's some principles that we can use, and no matter what color you are. Now, 1 more thing about this race thing. Let's assume that the white man is all evil, all of them. I don't care if they're married, got black kids, none of that stuff. They married a black man, a white, whatever it is. They still crooked and still evil, right? What does that have to do with you? Because you have to you have to control your own destiny. Like, where in the world can you go when no one's against you?
Well, no, and so I get where you're going with that as far as United States, and and you and Donovan have traveled way more than I have, and you guys have both said as many places that you've been around the world, United States is still the best place to live.
By far.
Right. So,
it ain't the prettiest, but it is the safest.
So what does that have to do with us? Well, it has a lot to do with us because we know that there's no denying systemic and institutional racism. It still happens. In fact, did you guys read the article where it says that even black business owners with 750 credit scores are still being denied loans?
Yeah, loans, yeah.
Okay, so there some of that is true.
Mm-hmm.
But like you
hey, Berdine, I'm gonna get to your question.
You just have to keep going, because at the end of the day, and let's just be honest. If we can just be honest here for a second, I'm a black man, and if I'd rather see black people go first. If I had 2 people come, like I voted for President Obama mainly. 1, because he was black. 2, he was well spoken, and he had his plan together. He was a good moderator. But the reason I voted for him first is because he's a black man. Because I want to see a black man in office. So sometimes self-preservation is key. You want to take care of your own. With that being said, so if I have a black man and a white man come in the door, part of me is going to go, I want to give the brother a shot. Because he's me. He's one of me. Doesn't make it right, but if we're honest, a lot of times that's the way you feel. So we, as minorities, have to stop waiting for somebody. And first of all, if you have a 750 FICO score, why are you going to the white man, the blue man, the green man, and asking for a loan?
So that brings us to the next, and Bernadita, we're going to get your question about how do you establish generational wealth. And Amanda says, what's up? So that brings us to the next one.
Amanda, by the way, we come to see you this weekend. We'll talk about it later. Yes. We're going to need a place to stay.
So to your point, in this book, Powernomics by Dr. Claude Anderson, he talks about that. He says that we should be banking with each other because that's what other races do. And a lot of times, if they don't use banks, they have their own money. Remember the book I sent you that actually my friend O sent me,
the Chinese book.
Yeah, about Oriental Wealth.
Yeah.
That's a lot of times they have their own money in house and they just loan it to each other without having to go to the bank. So to your point, if we had our own institutions, and we do have black banks, not as many as the other ones, perhaps we could get loans because naturally you would think, well, black banks will loan to their own people, right? Providing you have all your ducks in a row.
Black banks also run. They also run a lot of those numbers. They look at credit score and they look at a lot of the things. So unfortunately, if you look at the African American race, we are used to. You said we're on the bottom
of everything.
So if you're looking at it from a mathematical situation, and if you're looking at a race as a whole, I mean, and like you said, the African American race is not exactly credit worthy as a whole, right? So sometimes you have to look at that too. Yeah, there's a lot of discrimination, but sometimes they're making a business decision too. You know what I'm saying? And like my father, our father, right, was and it still is. He's a Muslim. That's how we got the book. I got a copy of that book at my house too, and the black book, which ruined my childhood for a minute. Because I used to date white women, and and he gave me this book, and I was like, oh, they're horrible people. They still got beautiful hair, and I'm just but you have to. Here's what we need to do. We need to come back and look at us first. Because at this day and age, especially with our current political climate, I don't think it's going to get better for any race at this point. I'm not here to beat up Trump, or I'm not going to go into all that. But I'm saying we have to take care of self.
Right.
Period. And this book talks about that. And I don't care. Like, you get on an airplane, the first thing they do is they say, take care of you first. Right? The mask comes down, take care of you. So what does that mean? One, you got to figure out what's best for you. Some people are here saying, oh, the bank won't give me a loan. First of all, what's the loan for? Like, if you're taking out a loan to buy a car, if people finance vacations, wedding rings, and the marriage ain't going to last. You got a 50% chance that it ain't going to work, but you got a 100% chance of that credit card being due. So, I mean, what are you financing? Like, it blows me away that you can, and I'm not going to get into, specifics, but like, one thing that kills African Americans, if we can just get the boxing gloves on, is cars. Negroes, so-called Negroes, black people, whatever you want to call us, cars are our biggest killer. Me and my son Miles were talking about what's his name? Not Fabulous. Who's the rapper? French Montana that bought the used Bentley.
Okay.
He bought like an '08 Bentley. He bought a used car, right? So if you take, and I know because I was looking at buying a Bentley last week, it took everything in me. I was going to pay cash for it to sell, of course. But after I drove it for a couple weeks. But I'll make a point. So I'm looking at this Bentley, and it's a 2004. It's got like 40,000 miles on it. It was beautiful, black, brown, and for 20 grand. I know somebody paid probably 100, 160 for this car. And so I was telling my son I should buy this car, drive it, and then we'll ask like 30,000 for it, so we'll make 10 grand on the deal. And he started telling me how 50 Cent was beating up French Montana for driving a used Bentley. The point I'm making is if I pull up in that '04 Bentley next to an '08 Bentley, they look the same. You can't tell. It don't matter. The gold digger's going to get into each car. It don't matter which one. So we destroy ourselves with cars. I gotta have the newest fresh whip. That is absolutely stupidity.
That depreciates the minute you drive it off the lot.
Yeah, like she got a car with no mileage, whatever that dumbass song is.
Y'all better ask y'all questions, because y'all never gonna get another opportunity to do it.
Well, y'all get more opportunities.
Not here, you won't.
I'm just gonna...
Me and Donovan got little knowledge, but he got like he got the digging in the crates. Now I had to bring some help with me.
I mean, actually,
hey, Charles.
I have a very radical side when it comes to money because I get tired of hearing black people complain
About
about
what they don't
money
have.
and what you don't have. I could go right now to the mall by my house and see black people and they're spending money.
Yes.
We went, me and the kids, we took days with us. We went to this chicken and waffle, Day-Days. We went with mom that one time.
Yeah.
Day-Days in Pomona, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we go to this chicken and waffle place, which is probably why my heart is beating so fast and my cholesterol's up.
We gonna get his blood pressure checked.
Man, I think it was the chicken. I had this meal they're gonna call it Walter Lee catfish and waffles. Anyway,
That's right.
but when I pull up, it's like S500, Land Rovers, all these luxury vehicles parked in front of this chicken and waffle place. And I said, oh, that's the spot right there. I knew it without even seeing the address. That's the chicken and waffle spot with all the luxury vehicles sitting out front. And when you go inside and you look at these people, like they don't look luxury. I'm just if I can just be real.
Right.
Right? I pulled up in a Range Rover too, but my car, it's an '08. I paid $7,000 for that car.
Right.
It's for sale for 10. I'm a businessman, and you can have it as black on black, it's clean. Right. You can make car payments, or your car can make the payment. So, cars are one. Clothes, it blows me away. I got one pair of jeans, and I wear them 3-4 days a week. I do not care.
Same here.
Yep. I wear them till they got a hole in the crotch. I don't really care. But you know what I'd rather do with my money? Is I'd rather spend it and go to Cuba, or go to Italy or Africa, or go get experiences that I could use to teach my kids,
Lifetime,
teach my family.
So we're going to get this question here. So
No, bring the questions on.
Berdina says, how do you establish generational wealth?
Well, okay, first of all.
And then let me ask you this. Hey, Huey, this is Walter Coulter. He is a financial guru. So if you have some financial, some financial questions, anything, please ask it. So go ahead. How do we establish generational wealth?
First of all, you have to build the foundation. So you said earlier that black people are on the bottom.
Yes.
Right? And the good thing about the bottom, first of all, you can't fall off the floor, number one. Right. Two, the bottom is the foundation. When you build a house, you build it on the foundation. So that's the safest, hardest place for you. It's on the bottom. You can't take another loss. If you're on the bottom, people don't expect that from you. So you can move. So first of all, you need to start. I dropped my mic already.
That's okay.
You need to start with you. So what do you need? I'm not talking about what do you need to be seen in. What do people around you think you need? What do you need? Like, I need food, clothing, right? Transportation. I need good health. Those are basically the 4 necessities. So now let's talk about transportation. Do I need to have a car payment? No. I could go right now from a bank auction and buy a car for $1,200. Matter of fact, I got one in my driveway. I'm asking $19.99 for it.
Never miss an opportunity.
I get criticized a lot because all I think about is money and making money, and I have no problem with that. That's just who I am. So this car's $1,200. It's clean. It drives. It starts. The heat works. So if I can pay $1,200 for a car and drive in it, that's one of the 4 things that are out of the way.
Okay.
Right? We used to live in Riverside on Olympia Drive, around the corner from these Chinese people, and there was 20 people in this house. You could smell the food, the walk, the everything, and it must have been 20 people. My neighbor, I got some Mexican cats that live next to me. There's 15 of them in this house, 6 adults, bunch of kids. And I was talking to the dude. I go, where do you guys sleep? He goes, we're doing what we got to do right now. We're saving our money so we can have our own stuff. So, and when it comes to housing, there's things like Airbnb. There's, some of you people have empty bedrooms, which blow me away. You got an empty bedroom, you use it for a home office, or use it, you could rent it out. There's just things you could do. Food, we blow money on food, and I know because I spend money on food sometimes unnecessarily. Not that I don't need to eat, but I spend money, on food. Yeah. But you don't need to go out and eat out every single day. Some of the most successful business owners, you'll see them packing their lunch. Yes. You'll see the owner of the restaurant bringing his lunch to work. Everybody else is out at the fast food joint. Right.
Or using a 10% discount at the restaurant to buy food.
You're getting 10% on something that's already 500% marked up. And so the other thing, when it comes to health, there's things that you can do to make yourself stronger, like exercise, drink water. I went to the soul food place. I can't eat like that every day.
Right.
But some of those things you have to put yourself in a position to do better. So me and my son Evan, we were talking, and Morgan, we're trying to figure out what they want to do. and we were, I think one of the things he said was like he didn't want to grow up and have his expenses be out of control or something to that degree.
That's right.
He didn't want to be struggling.
Amen.
Right? So where people get caught off guard is their expenses. So cut your expenses. Like figure out, like if you were homeless or if you lost your job, and some of you gonna lose your job, or if you haven't already, right? Because the machines and all that stuff is coming. But if you lost your job, what would you do to survive? Some of you guys need to think like that. Like I know me and Dee had a house together and it burned down. We're not gonna say how it burned down. Right? The statute
It
of
wasn't
limitations
me.
there. It wasn't me either. But we had a house together and the whole house burned down. I mean, I remember sitting on the curb in my underwear just like,
Right.
damn.
I remember sitting on the curb in my underwear too. I had a shirt on, thank God.
And I was like, we just lost the car. Matter of fact, Miles showed me a picture. There was an iPhone of the cars burnt in the garage. It was a hot mess. Like the whole house, the frame was just standing. So we lost everything. But then I remember sitting there going, you know what? There's nothing in that house I could have done. I couldn't do without.
Right.
We got out of the house and we rebuilt. So sometimes you have to go, what do I need just to survive?
Right.
So get my expenses under control. Get rid of the car payments. If you got a $600, $700, $800 car payment, you're killing yourself. Unless if you're making $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a month and you have a $600, $700 car payment, great. But if you're making $5,000 and your car payment is $400, you got problems. You need to let it go.
That's insane. That's almost a house payment, almost. In
It's
California,
nuts.
almost.
I tell you what, right now in Texas, you can buy a house for $100,000 all day, $400 a month.
Yep.
Think about this: for what we spend on car payments in California, you
People
can buy
are
a
buying
house,
houses.
a whole house, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, and it ain't a shack; it's a house
It's a
And
house.
land.
and
Right.
land too.
And land on it.
So when you think about those things, you have to take care of yourself first. Flush what everyone else thinks about you.
Right.
Like, because you will have nothing. People will criticize you no matter what you
What you do.
They're going to pour, what did Medea say? They're going to pour dirt on you in the grave, they're going to pour dirt on you right now. Right? So, figure out what you need to survive, number one. Get rid of your expenses. I'm telling you, some of you guys are in these giant houses, and you ain't seen half the house. Let it go.
Let it go.
like, peace of mind is the best interest rate.
Amen.
So how do you start with generational wealth? Start with taking care of you first. And then teach the people around you, your kids, your family members, to think like you do. Like, I got my 2 hostage kids sitting over here, Morgan and Ebony on the other side. But like, most of our conversations are about what? They'll tell you. We talk about money. What do you want to do with your life? Tell me about your future. What I
Instilling
need,
that in their head early.
yeah,
Right.
because what I need, my thing is, speaking of generations, something, let's say I would have died today, right? Like if, my brother would have called me, or my Lord, no, would have called me up and say, hey, we need you up here for a minute. We got some financial questions, some things we need answered up here. What would happen to my kids, my family members? Do they know what it takes to keep going and live the life that I know how to live?
Right.
So you have to educate the people around you. So start with those 2 things. And then I'm going to say this, and people say, oh, hallelujah, I'm going to do it, but they don't do it. Is you got to save some damn money. Like if you make, I don't care if you make $15 an hour, don't tell me you can't save $150 of that. I don't see, and this is till recently I struggled with this, right? And because I'm like, I need this, I need I got to take care of all these things. But you know what I just said? I need to save money first, because wealthy people save money first.
Yes.
Put your money away, then live on the rest. Because what if you lost your job?
Right.
You would survive.
GoFundMe.
So GoFundMe. I mean, you would.
I'm gonna get to you guys' questions.
Yeah, you would figure it out. I ain't gonna.
I'm joking about the GoFundMe, by the way.
No, but hey, listen. There's nothing wrong with GoFundMe if you got a purpose for it.
Right.
Oh, don't get it twisted. I think about doing GoFundMe all the time.
Let me not get him started.
I got a business idea. It's a GoFundMe Kickstarter. That is a legitimate way to raise money. Dude, listen. Hey, if you can do a GoFundMe and raise $5,000, go do it.
All right, so let me get to Tay's question. Tay, you said, I told my dad I realized the importance of having more money and less bills. All right, and Amanda says, the Asians do it best, group economics. And Arson, what's happening? You say, hey guys, it just showed up. How's everything? Is this Walter? Yes, it's Walter.
Yeah, what's up?
The timing here is so funny. I was just in the middle of watching an interview with a certain Ray Dalio.
Ray Dalio.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's predicting the future.
Which I'm sure Walter knows about. And now here I get a financial expert live. Thanks, guys. You guys are the pros. But all I have gathered in the last 20 minutes is we should all get great at diversifying our investments in stocks. And about a car, it's known that a brand new car is the worst investment ever. It loses value right as you roll off the dealer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right?
So let me. So what I was to finish my point. I was
Sorry
talking
to hear that, Al. Maybe next year. The Texans lost.
I don't know how they lost. They were up 21-0.
That's what I
in the
heard.
first quarter.
No, at the half it was 28-21.
Yeah, we were
Well, he
watching
says
the
we
game.
lost by 20 to KC after being up by 24.
Wow.
That's too bad.
That was a shootout.
Right
Man,
now,
I
Al, you
missed
can
that.
get back to building your generational wealth without worrying about men in pants.
Right.
Men in tight pants making $20 million. They straight already.
Right.
So, anyways, but so you have to manage your expenses, and then you have to start saving money. If you don't save, think about this.
Okay, wait, so here's a good question. Maybe this could tie into it. So Huey says, my wife has an astronomical car payment. How can I get rid of it?
Let it go. Let me tell you a couple ways you can do. Right when she sleep, you can have somebody take it. You can leave it running. Right? You can cut the brake line. Make sure she wearing a
Now
helmet.
listen, okay? Disclaimer that the opinions of this dude here ain't got nothing to do with
I'm
me.
sorry. I thought he was asking me what I would do.
We talking about some legal stuff.
No, real question. Real answer. There's a company called Swap-A-Lease. And there's companies that will take over your car payment and take over your lease. So this particular person went in and they put $4,000 down on the lease, which is insane. So I can see like putting a down payment on a house to rent, you don't get your deposit back, but on the lease you're not getting that back. So you put the money down and now somebody else doesn't have the lump sum, but they have the payment ability. So they can take over the payment. Swap-A-Lease or companies like that, you can do that. Where you can they can take the car over for you. Or let somebody take over the payments for you. You know, write out a contract, hey, Lucy, you can take over my car payment. We'll get something in writing. Like, even if she paid on the car for a year and couldn't pay on it anymore, and you were paying $400 a month, that's $5,000 in your pocket. Do you know what I could do with $5,000? Like, seriously, I could buy 4 of those Honda Accords at my house. Like, flip it, turn it into 8,000.
He sells cars if you haven't already noticed.
I sell cars, life insurance, investments. I'm going to sell bidets, the spray of the base from China.
Multiple streams of income.
Here's the thing that I realize is that you have to always be thinking about your future. So everywhere you go, like this book, this is a great book.
I'm going to let you borrow it. If you give it back to me, it's dope.
But I guarantee you, he's selling it for more than he paid for it.
Yeah, I paid $30 for that, and that was on sale.
You know what I'm saying? And you're paying for his knowledge because it didn't cost $30 to make this book. It cost him maybe $30 in stress and all that crap to get to the words and get it all here. But once it's done, he's making money.
Right.
So what you need to do, I'm going back, I digress, is save money. Like, if you're not saving money, you don't deserve to be in front of a financial planner. You don't deserve to be in front of, because if you're not willing to save, you have to start saving money. And I wish that was a way I could sugarcoat it, turn it into a rap song or to a melody or to an opera, but I can't. You need to save money. Number one. Two, you need to protect yourself. On the way over here, we saw all these kids holding up the sign for a funeral, and they had milk cartons with the thing cut out, and it was full of dollar bills. People were putting dollar bills in this. But how many kids were, Morgan, Evan, would you say? About 10 kids in the street walking around with the buckets, with the collecting money for this funeral for this kid. So my first thought was, oh, that sucks for the kid. And then my second thought was, wow, that's a good hustle to put like somebody's picture on the sign and walking around and collect money. I'm sorry, I just what went through my mind.
Yeah, because you don't know.
It's a good idea. I mean, here's the point though. For $20 a month, $25 a month, you can get your 18-year-old son $1 million worth of life insurance, $500,000. Like,
what's the youngest a child can be insured?
As soon as they come out the womb, that kid, as soon as he gets smacked, get a social security number,
10 days
you get
old.
life insurance on him. It's like it blows me away.
That we don't.
And I don't understand that. Like, for me, like, let's say I'm a kid, right? And my parents are, and I'm 8 years old and I die. Like, what does that do to my parents?
Devastating.
Devastate them. But why not have insurance on your kids, and then why not have insurance on you? See, I wrote this, peace of mind. Peace of mind is the best interest rate. Here's why. Because I know if I get killed, let's say I'm in Cuba next week smoking a cigar, and
something kicks off.
The revolution started. I'm just sitting on the bomb, and I'm dead. I know my kids.
They won't let you on the naval base.
You know what I'm saying?
Because
I'm gonna be calling you. Yeah. But I know my kids have millions of dollars in life insurance. They have my business. They have my ideas. They have,
And 3 years later, they'll be busted broke because they went.
They know better.
Not
than that.
them.
Right. No, I promise you, it ain't gonna be them. They got this cool tool called Evernote where the family can go on and type on it. You can leave instructions for them. It's free. There's things you can do. So I know that they are straight. They have it in writing. I have a power of attorney. Right, something happens to me. One of my kids, of soon to be 2, 3 of them, have the power to say, "Oh no, here's what Dad wants. No, Dad wanted this."
Specifically in writing, right?
So you need life insurance. You need to make sure that you have, you have insurance to protect your health. I have this thing. You sold it before I did. Critical illness and injury. If I have a heart attack or a stroke, and I'm sitting up here like this, wandering, I'm bouncing back and forth. My kids, I'm not watching my son Evan play video games. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's nothing wrong with. I don't want to watch Fortnite
and you guys,
all night.
please share this so everybody else can get the information as well. This is life-changing advice and information. I'm gonna go on to a next one. And Al, I saw your joke, but Walter ain't here for it today.
Man, that's the problem with black people. We joke around too much. Al, DM me those jokes. I do like them, but it takes time for them.
And Michi, what's happening? Michi says, yes, good credit and save some money. Yes. And Charles says he's replying to Al. He saw that about the game, about Houston. A tough break. Hey, Hannah, what's happening? He said the first thing, if we, black people in parentheses, truly move like we, he said and I think he said we would find that we aren't at the bottom economically. Secondly, let me see more. If we supported each other's products and services, we climb at an unfathomable rate. Third, if we didn't put our kids out at 18, instead, we collectively as a family grow.
Right.
That was Hannah.
That was it?
Hannah?
Well, let me just say this real quick, because he had some good points, and I agree with a lot of his good points. But unfortunately, the game has been twisted. I would love to go and buy and support black products, but unfortunately, if I can get it cheaper at Walmart, I'm going to go do that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I understand where he's saying in a perfect world, whatever, but unfortunately, we are at the I don't know where he's basing his economics at. We are at the bottom base of the economic situation in the United States.
True, and then to piggyback off of what he said and kind of breeze what you're saying, we are economically at the bottom because we go to Walmart, and opposed to going to each other. And I know we have a whole, and he talks about it here, you know. In this next paragraph, I can read it to you, but I won't. Actually, about how we make excuses as to not to do business with each other, but that's why we don't have business. But we don't.
Let me address that point too. Doing business with black people is not the reason why black people are busted. That's not why we're in trouble. Because I don't care if we only did business with black people. First of all, that's a fantasy. But let's assume we did that. The problem with black people is, what do you do with the money?
Right.
That's the problem. Like, there's nothing. And why should we? Because I'm black and you black, and your product is $4 and Walmart is $2. Why in the hell should I go to you?
Right. That's
what you need to do is get your product down to $2.
Well, and so
we stop thinking like black people, start thinking like people.
And that's what Dr. Claude Anderson actually talks about in his book. And I want to, really quick, because I know I see some more questions, so I'll be brief with what I'm saying.
Put on a bow tie.
So basically, what he says, especially now, I'm in an information age, technology, AI, and all of that. He says, since black people are a labor class, and we just are, we don't own any businesses. We own some, but not overall. We don't own business. We are primarily employees. The technology industry is going to wipe us out. But he says if we were smart, we would get ahead of that, because he says there's a cycle. And if you can see here, it says there's information and there's natural resources and there's slavery and human labor, which we're pretty close to again. And technology and living, saving machinery, whatever. So he's basically saying if we would get back ahead and start going back to natural resources, doing simple things, because we all need stuff, but unfortunately, we are so consumer based and buying, it says here, I can't find it, but tobacco, alcohol, clothing and things like that. But if we were smart, we would get ahead of it and start thinking about the stuff that we need on an everyday basis. Does that make any sense?
Well, it does. And let me address the tobacco.
And Tori, I'm going to get to your question.
Let me address the tobacco, alcohol, and I remember the other thing you said.
I have another word for it, but I ain't going to use it.
Is everybody, most people drink. So why not get in that business?
Right, but
Like-
we don't.
That's what I'm saying. And why? So I can tell you why I'm going to Cuba, and don't steal my idea. Let's go 50-50 on it.
Right.
I'm going to Cuba next weekend to buy cigars so I can give them away at my financial planning seminars. And I'm going to France to buy wine so I can bring over, a couple hundred
Authentic.
bottles
Mhm.
from France to give away at my seminars. So I'm using tobacco and alcohol to get people to a function to hear about money. If that's what they want, give it to them.
So Dr. Conrad says, where blacks are the dominant consumer, they have a competitive market advantage. Blacks make purchases that are disproportionate to and exceed white purchases by
Yes.
twice to 5 times in the following areas: clothes and accessories, watches and jewelry, consumer electronics, hair care products, used cars, theater tickets, inner city mass transit services, cosmetic products, certain foods, leather goods, children footwear, athletic shoes, and certain brands of cigarettes and alcohol.
Right.
So
So
those
why not
Get
get
into those businesses.
into those? And I'm gonna say something that's controversial. Not that I've never done this before, and it's Sunday, so maybe it's a little more appropriate. Is some of you guys need to? Oh shit! I know I'm gonna get in trouble.
Go
for
ahead.
this.
We
Go
were
ahead.
pretty
Which I don't
open
have
on this
my
show.
email, and I'm not on Twitter, so I ain't worried about it.
Yeah.
And I heard somebody say this: Black people spend so much time praising and worshiping and not taking care of the bases.
Mhm.
It's cool you go to church on Sunday, but what are you doing on Monday,
Mm.
Tuesday, Wednesday? Do you realize if you
Well.
worked harder, you wouldn't have to pray so much? Why in the hell do you have to keep praying to God who's already said here? He's already given, or she, whoever it is, has already given it to you. It's already here. Why are we asking for the same old thing? You know what the problem is? We're too lazy as a
Lazy.
people
We don't want to work.
to go out and get it.
Right.
I don't care what it is. You can get up and, like, if you work your 9 to 5 and you go home and turn on the TV, that's your fault. Because at 5 o'clock when you get home, you take a break, you take a nap, you get up and you run the thing that's gonna get you out of that 9 to 5.
Mhm.
But I don't, and the whole thing with, like, clothing, I think that was in the
Yeah,
book.
that was in the book.
Come on, you guys, knock it off. Like, if you're gonna buy nice clothes, buy something that's gonna last,
Right.
that you can wear forever.
Right.
I don't have a problem spending $300 on a pair of shoes, but knowing that I can wear these shoes for years.
Right.
Like Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank
And
says,
good good shoes, because you got to take care of your feet, because that could be a problem later on down the road.
later on. So
All right.
buy good stuff that you can wear for a long
Quality.
time, or
Quality.
quality stuff.
All right, so let's get to Tori. Tori says, I am, let me see more because I always lose my spot. Tori says, I am 50 years old and broke, but I work every day and have gotten rid of everything that has gotten me broke except for child support. What can I do to create enough income to still retire in the next 5 years? However, I have to save seriously.
Okay.
Okay.
So, first of all, if you're 50, I'm 52. I mean, I'm
He's
50,
50.
not 52. Right.
We're halfway there, brother.
I don't care if right now you're 50 and you don't have a pot to piss in. You could start, if you start saving money right now, if you start saving $200-300 a month, and you did that, by the time you got 70, you would have hundreds of thousands of dollars. So here's what happens when you save, is you start out with a little bit, and then it gets bigger, and before you know it, becomes a habit. So when I started my investment program a while back, and I started saving a little bit, and then I would blow it, and then I started saving again, and then I said, you know what?
Into it.
I ain't gonna touch that money. So now I have money goes into my, my stock market account. It goes into my life insurance for retirement. I put money aside for real estate, and that money goes there and stays, right? And I know there's nice stuff. I want nice stuff. When I pull up to a brand new, I had a Jaguar pull up next to me on the way to go eat. I was like, wow, that's a nice Jaguar. And I was telling my girl, that's hot.
Mm.
But you know what I don't miss? I don't want the car payment.
Right.
So I would rather take, be able to take my kids to breakfast, or, because kids never need stuff. But when they need stuff, to say, hey, you know what, don't worry about it, I got it. If you need this, or whatever, I'll take care of it. I'd rather deal with that versus paying for these things that aren't going to do anything for you. So start saving and cut the crap. If you could breathe without it, get rid of it. You got a couch, and I'm being funny, but you have a couch and you ain't got enough money, you can't afford to sit down. Sell it.
Oh, wow.
You know what I'm
Good
saying?
point.
Stand up and get to work. I mean, I have a friend of mine, Dominique, sold his couch. He goes, you know what, I took your advice. You were joking, but I sold my couch. And that money I used to start a business on the side.
Mm.
Now he's got 2 couches. You know what he's going into right now? Furniture business.
Wow.
I know that's
Amazing.
right. So I hope that helped, Tori. And Michi says I had a car that was upside down and payments was $350. I woke up one day and said, "Hey, come get this car."
Mm-hmm.
I know that's right. So she voluntarily gave the car back.
So that's a good idea, but from there you have to have a plan of action.
And I ain't gonna read that one either.
Because that's gonna dent your credit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're gonna
Right?
take a credit hit.
So, but if you're gonna destroy your credit, oh Lord, I can't believe I'm gonna say this.
Only
If you're
something.
gonna destroy your credit, do it all at once. If you're gonna blow
Yeah,
up the shop,
right.
blow up the shop.
Right. Do
Get
it
back
while
your
you're young.
car.
Right.
Tell the credit card companies kick rock. Get rid of all them
Everything.
people and start over. Do you realize Bank of America, Donald Trump, whoever it is,
They all do
Obama,
it.
they all, if they had a problem with business, what do you think downsizing is to a business? They are neglecting, they are not neglecting, they are walking away from their responsibilities.
Mm-hmm.
I said I was going to pay you, I cannot, we need to let you go.
Mm-hmm.
We're downsizing. I know Charles Schwab is moving from California to Texas.
Right.
Their
Tax
headquarters.
purposes. Mm-hmm.
Tax purposes. So all those people in California, they're saying, hey, you know what? We need to take care of ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And we're moving to Texas.
And imagine how much, how high of a salaries those people are getting at Charles Schwab's here, and
Mm-hmm.
now they're going to be, you know, on the other side of having to give up stuff because they can't afford to pay for it.
Or
now.
they have the option either you follow the company or
Right.
you're out of a job.
Okay.
So yeah, you have people like if you aren't saving. First of all, if you are a human being, you have an income and you are not saving money, you are a horrible person.
Mm-hmm.
Let me go a little bit deeper. Maybe you're not a horrible person, but like I hear black people, and I'm because this is like you talking about blackness on this show, so that's why because I don't care what color they are,
Yeah.
right? I just
Money's green.
Money's green. I hear people saying, well, we as black people, we're not getting a break, and we don't need a break. We
Excuses.
need to save.
Mhm.
Like, and I hear, we compare ourselves to the Chinese and to the Jews and all that stuff. But, like, I mean, the Chinese came over here, they got persecuted too. The Japanese, they got reparations, which is a whole nother show.
Yeah,
You know, the Jews were, you know, they got, they lost a lot of Jews like they did, you know, like black. We went through the same thing.
Not quite, but yeah.
I'm not, when I say that we went through persecution, you know,
Yeah.
death and all that stuff, right? But we are not going to, the government is never going to say, hey, black people, we screwed up. Here's your money. And if they did, honestly, without turning this into a Dave Chappelle episode, let's say if all black people got $50,000, how long do you think it would take before it was back where it came from? Seriously.
And that's what he talks about in here.
I'd say about 36 hours.
Yeah, and that's what he talks about in here, you know, actually devising the plan, because he said, like, the same thing you said. He said he doesn't doubt we'll get it, just don't know when. But in the meantime, this is what Dr. Claude Anderson is saying. And it's the same thing with Elijah Muhammad. The onus is on us to fix our problems, like save yourself type of thing.
And I think what black people need is mental toughness. You need to get you a life coach. You need to get with someone that can help you feel better. You need to start reading black history books. And I'm not talking about the swing low, he was a slave.
Right.
I'm not talking
Martin
about
Luther
those.
King came and
I'm
saved
talking
us.
about,
Right.
like, there's a book on the black businesses. There's a book this big on black businesses. Black businesses from back in the days. You know, a book on black inventions. All these things that black people created. Like, do you realize, like, black people invented the stop, like Garrett Morgan, the stoplight, Benjamin Banneker, who they call they call Father Time. If you go to London and people won't admit it, what do you think Big Ben is?
Right.
I mean, like, you have blackness everywhere you go. I turn on the TV, I don't care if it's all white women doing a Bad Mom Christmas show. They are dancing to black music.
Yes.
And, like, I was watching, what's this, Dia Lupa, what's her name? She got this hit song out. It don't matter. She's a white chick. She's got this urban hit. It's a smash. She is singing and dancing to black music. So the point I'm making is black people, we are, like, if we're real, like, I had a girl say to me, nothing like seeing a bunch of black men in suits. It just does something to me. And I'm like, okay. Okay, I can't finish that thought. Let me switch
All right,
gears.
so let me go on. Let me get these comments because you got.
I'm making a point. Let me wrap this point.
Okay.
I'm making a point that we have greatness. Like if you watch the NFL game, both of those quarterbacks were black.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
If you go through the NFL, wasn't no black quarterbacks. Now, like the dude Lamar Jackson, black. I mean, it's just on and on and on. The wide receivers, dude. If you see a
70%.
white dude in the NBA, you go, he got skills.
Right.
Right.
All right, well, let me get to this point. Here he says, and we're going to get, because we got a lot of questions here. Here he says, And then if you got those of you guys on the podcast, come on back for the second half. And here he says, what you said about stroke. I had a massive stroke and I'm 26. Faith, and you say you have a 2-year-old son. So he's 26 and a massive stroke. I hope that you are doing well now, Huey. Don't let it get to you for whatever it is. We're going to talk about that a little bit later.
Yeah, because Huey, you can do something about it.
Absolutely. 26 it's a baby.
Yeah, 26 is insane for a stroke, but
it happens.
But you need to, you can have insurance for that. I have insurance for that. If I have a stroke, heart attack, illness, the company's gonna write my family hundreds, if not millions of dollars in checks, and they got the instructions. So you can. And then a lot of times, stroke and that stuff comes from stress about money.
And what do we say about it? It's hard being black, so that's a stressful situation in and of itself. And Tay says, after constant health issues during my pregnancy because of work, I stopped working, and it was the best for me and my child. And I still bled out during childbirth. Let's see. If I kept working for someone else's company, Mia wouldn't be healthy today. Once I figured out how to pay for bills with no job, I vowed to never work another job. So she says she's gonna figure it out.
And you can't. And there's nothing wrong. And I know because I talk to Tay quite a bit often now. And yeah, I'm gonna be there for the baby function. I'm pitching in. Yes, I'm saying it on camera, right?
But you got him, Tay.
No, I already told her I would participate. But it doesn't. If you're working a job, it doesn't matter if you're working a job or running your own business. Because trust me, running your own business is chaos. That is like, having a job is peaceful. You get your clock, you punch into the clock, you get out, but it's what you do with it.
Right.
But you have to, I don't care what you have for a job, is what are you doing with that money?
Right.
Like some of you guys say, the world is tough, but you got car payments, and I see you over at the Rib Shack 3 times a week, and all these things that aren't making you money. And the point I was making earlier is we need to get mental toughness. We need to get strong mentally, because once you become, and I'm not talking about Stella get her groove back or no Tyler Perry movie where she's just strong and can be on her own. I'm talking about like getting good advice where you can take care of yourself and feel good about yourself. Like when I started feeling better about myself, my wealth started to grow because the shit that people used to say to me that I would deal with, I don't deal with it now.
Right.
But I used to take it. And okay, maybe he's right or maybe she's right. But now I'm like, you know what? No. I need to love myself first. And until we do that, I don't care how much money black people get, how much education we get. Until we feel better about ourselves, we're always going to be in this shitty position. And I'm talking about, like, when you go out, you see how black people, how we act. It is insane. It's embarrassing. Like, that's the stuff we need to deal with. The money stuff, when we start feeling better about ourselves, the money stuff will come.
Right.
And we need to stop using our we were slaves and we didn't get reparations for reason. It ain't got no reason why we're out in public acting like assholes or like acting crazy.
Well, I always say, if we're getting $1.3 trillion annually, what are we doing with that money?
We're giving 97% of that away. And Al asks, when is the best time financially to take a loved one off of life support? How many days? I already know. I have. Go ahead.
Okay, wait a minute. See, I'm glad I'm not related to Al.
Yeah.
Well, makes me think about my medical director.
I love you, but you ain't gonna never have that kind of power over me. No, but that person should have their stuff in writing. But that is a decision. If somebody is on life support, I mean, they should have had it in writing. But like, when is the best to pull the plug? How much money they got left, and how much you need to deal with them after they're in the grave?
I knew he was gonna say that.
It's funny that he brought that up. There's a issue. A lady in Florida or something. She was taking her mother's, who's in a hospice or whatever, her Social Security, her veterans benefits, and was buying all this stuff. She was Miss Florida, the former Miss Florida.
Oh, she had it plugged up.
Yeah, and she was taking all the benefits and stuff. And she's like, "Well, I made some bad decisions, but."
Hey, she's still alive. Somebody got to spend the money.
Yeah.
Right. And Tay says, I agree with Walter. I have a family member who sells clothes. Leggings are $40. My phone bill is $40. I love to support, but I'm also financially responsible. And Arson says, cutting the brakes. Walter's sense of humor reminds me of Donovan's. Anyway, me and my 2 friends are putting our money together to start. Let me see more. To start renting out in March and do the Airbnb type of business. My question is, what do you generally think of this type of business?
Here's the cool thing about
Hey,
Airbnb.
Jonelle.
Oh, you want
No, go ahead.
the cool thing about Airbnb is they've done all the work. All you need is a place for people to stay. You go on, it's an app. You sign up for the app. You give me an email. You send them your picture, and then the next day you can have somebody staying at your house. It's that simple. I can tell you the house that I'm in right now. I was doing Airbnb for probably 2 years. The Airbnb was paying for my spot, and I got solar panels, so I was living in the house for free. Literally, I just stopped it because I was like, okay, it's time, to do something different, and I want to be able to blast my music up at 2 a.m. and not worry about my guests. But sometimes I don't want to get dressed. So, but you can do. So there's things that set up. There's a Turo app. You can rent your car out. You know what I'm saying? If you got 2 cars, you can rent one of them out for $30-$40 a day. There's so many ways. If you want a nice car, if you have to have that Mercedes at $500 a month, then you drive it 2 weeks out of the month and put it on Turo and let somebody else pay for it.
Nah, see, I can't just let anybody drive my car now. That's my baby.
Well, I mean, you let anybody in your bank account.
Right, okay.
Financial situation.
And Jonelle says, as the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches, we don't want temporary, we want permanent. So he's basically saying we don't want a Band-Aid. Because, basically giving us money, we'll fix it temporarily. But we need systems and plans in place to say we do get reparations. I'm assuming this is what you're going.
Yeah.
And both of these books, they talk about having a plan. Because as you guys said about Dave Chappelle, it will eventually go right back.
Yeah. So you have to, first of all, figure out what you really want in your life. Like for me, I like to travel. Right? And it wasn't always that way, but as I travel more, I'm like, oh, I gotta go. Right now, I'm itching. Like, me and my girl were talking about going to Cuba this weekend, which is why I need to stop in Jacksonville and say what's up to my sister, right? But I'm like, like when you get me talking about travel, going to Cuba, going to Italy, going to Mexico, or going to Amsterdam, or I need to go to Africa. I'm looking forward to that. Like that's the stuff that you can take to the next generation, and that's the stuff that you pay for, stuff that does something for you,
right? That
you can use
memories.
Because now I'm using that in my businesses. I'm using the travel consulting. I'm tied into our firm,
right? And Tori she asked rather, what kind of investment can I make to reach a 5-year retirement goal, specific things?
Okay, I can tell you how to retire in 5 years right now because I'm doing it myself. First of all, cut your expenses. I don't care. You have to. If you're bringing in $4,000 a month and your expenses are $3,000, you're struggling. Cut your expenses down. Number 1. 2, put your money and invest in things that are going to pay you a residual income. Right? So you can start with, like you hear, buy low, sell high, right? And you hear that all the time. Businesses do that. They do that in the stock markets. So what if you take $1,000? Can you buy something with $1,000 and sell it for $2,000? Think about it, right? What do you think Walmart does?
Okay.
Right? So I was in Asia, and I'm going to tell you this because I want you to come to my website and buy it. I'll give you a discount if you mention my sister's name. I was in Thailand, and I went to sit down because if you eat Thai food on the street, you're going to need a toilet. Right? So I'm sitting on the toilet, and I noticed ain't no toilet paper sitting here. And I went, oh. So the lady comes over right here laughing. She goes, oh. Yeah, she goes, you need tissue, and use the sprayer. And so I go, sprayer? So they have a bidet sprayer. So you spray and you clean it all up. And anyways, it's
we're
clean.
Barbarians over here.
It's clean, you get to the point, right?
Right.
And so my whole trip, I was thinking, you know what? How much is that bidet sprayer at the factory? And how much is it on Amazon? I got back, I paid $35 to put for each one I put in my house. I ain't gonna tell you what I can get the part for because I don't want to create competition. But I mean, you can go to Alley West and things like that. You can go find the same thing.
I have a bidet in my house. One costs $25.
Yeah, I know you got a bidet, right? That's the Bidet Brothers, right? Right. Our bottoms are clear.
Yes.
So, little things like that. So as you go and you use things in your life, go, okay, if I'm paying $50 for this, how can I get it for 12 or 20? And that's how you start to build your retirement plan. Because as you start to make decisions like that, you'll waste less money on silly stuff. So you need to buy things that appreciate and that will then give you a residual income. One, how do you retire in 5 years? Maybe you start a business and you teach 20 people to do it, and then you live off the residual income from that, and sooner or later you stack enough. One, you could build up enough money to where, let's say you bought a house, right? Let's say in 5 years your goal is to pay off a house. Could you do that? Realistically, could you take $1,000 a month, and it don't have to be in California because that's not happening.
Right, you ain't getting nothing out here.
You can go to Alabama, You can go to
Mississippi, Louisiana.
You can go to Thailand. You can go. I saw a house in France. They went to Africa. So you can go around the world and buy something. Let's say my goal in 5 years is to pay off this house in Africa, and then I rent it out. And let's say it's $1,000 US. Do you realize that you can live in Bangkok for $600 a month?
Yes.
Live in the Philippines for $700 a month or $400? You can even Africa. You can go to Portugal, outside of Lisbon, and live for $1,400 a month. So really, what all you really need is to create an income stream. Sometimes people think of their current environment.
Right.
So if you start buying things, selling them higher, cutting your expenses, and then every time you get paid, put it somewhere. Open an E-Trade account.
Yes.
Right.
Or Ameritrade or whatever. Even if you just put the money in cash. Robinhood.
Stash. Yeah.
You know, there's this, oh my God, there's so many ways that you can invest $1 a day, $5 a day. Like, start out like that.
Right.
So come to me in a year and say, hey, you know what? I've been putting $5 a week away. And I don't care if you live out of your car, if you're living in the trunk. I don't care where you're living. You could put away $1, $2, $3 a day.
Right.
Just try that for a year. And then let's have this conversation. I guarantee you it'll be a different conversation.
Good point. And Jonelle says the greatest investment is that which has endurance that's long term. To the guests, what are some of the great long term assets you recommend investing in?
Okay, so what do we need? Well, I guess it would depend what long term means, but you know, generally we say long term, we think about like real estate, which we just talked about, right? Buy something that can be used. Like if I bought, let's say I bought a car, and so when you think about investing, you have to think about rate of return, right? Let's say I buy a car for $5,000, and I rent this car out, let's just say for $400 a month, right? Because when you lease a car, that's what they're doing to you.
Right.
So if I lease this car on Turo or whatever it is at $400 a month, that is $5,000 a year. That is 100% gross rate of return on my money. Where in the hell can you get 100% rate of return on your money? So here's the crazy part. You don't have to spend $5,000. You can spend $3,000. It just depends on where you go. So buy assets that people will use constantly, right? If right now one of the things that's in the back of my mind is investing in a farm, not necessarily because I want to be a farmer overall, but people got to eat. AI ain't gonna never, as far as I can see, get into the food business.
Right.
At least we're.
And that's what Dr. Claude Anderson was saying about resources, natural resources. So one of those things would be farm, because he says eventually if the technology industry does collapse, he says those people are now going to use their wealth to buy the stuff that we have, which is food and, you know, the everyday necessities that maybe right now they're kind of taking for granted, right? And so we'll be the producers of that. If we were smart, right?
So stuff like, you know, things that you can hold on to, like real estate, you can buy, you know, things that that will produce an income. You know, another thing that gets a really bad rap is network marketing. I hear people talk about Amway, Herbalife, you know, all these companies like trash, but like network marketing is one of the best ways to build an income stream. Matter of fact, right now my company, Cornucopia, we don't have a network market, but you can best believe we are setting one up. Like, what if I can teach 50 people to do what I do? What if it took you, what was your guest's name?
Jonelle.
Jonelle, what if it took you 5 years to train 40 people to do what you do? The first year may not work, the second year may not work, the third year, the fourth year might be hell, but you know how long it normally takes a business to get going? 5 years.
Yeah, 5 years.
They say that. How long does it take to get a college degree?
4
years.
4 to
5,
6.
5 years. I'm not seeing people 6 years. Like, people in their 70s still getting their college. My mom got her college degree. She was damn near 70 years old.
Right.
See what I'm saying? But not once did I hear my mom say, "Oh my God, this ain't working." No, she didn't have her degree yet. So if you spend 4 or 5 years in college, why would you not spend 5 years building a business?
Right.
See, the problem with building a business is it doesn't work right away. I've had so many businesses.
Impatience.
Yeah, and my businesses have failed. My sister would tell you, I done tried everything from selling Jimmy Crack corn and I don't care to like ice to Eskimos. I tried anything. But what at the end of the day, it's experience that gets you, that makes you tough.
Right.
So
Isn't that what they say about Trump? That's why he's such a good businessman, because he's failed it so many times that now he's the president of the United States.
I doubt it, but let's see what Arson says.
But
Yeah, he has a lot of failures.
Yeah,
all right, but we ain't gonna get on Trump.
No, but I was just saying
Right.
that's one of the things that they keep saying.
Right.
But you know what, Trump,
trying.
his father left him an inheritance, and
Yeah.
here's the other thing I want to talk about.
Okay.
I'm gonna
Right.
get to the rest of y'all comments.
So for you people that like Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders supporters, I'm gonna need you to plug your ears for a second. Donald Trump, he's a jerk, whatever you want to call him, right? Because Trump is not a friend of mine either. Don't get it twisted, right? And regardless of who I vote for,
Right.
he don't want me around. I promise. If I came home with Ivanka, he'd have a problem,
Right.
right? So, anyways, no, I'm not gonna beat up.
Let's
Donald
get
Trump.
to Arson's
Right.
point, okay? Because
Right.
you just brought Ivanka, they might be listening.
I'm sorry. You have to make mistakes.
Yeah,
And
you're not always
that-
gonna be successful.
The people that make the most mistakes, when Michael Jordan has missed more shots, Tiger Woods has missed more tee
Swings.
shots
Mhm.
than anybody, but he's also the best because he's taken the most
Best to
shots.
ever do it. So Arson
Right.
says, don't be afraid to say that, Walter. I know what it was. That's true. We rarely we rely so much on God, rather, thinking he will find a way, etc. We end up never holding ourselves accountable. We don't accept responsibility, which in turn automatically makes us less powerful over our own lives. Yes, let's pray, but let's work first. And Jonelle says, our group economics is our empowerment. Absolutely. Hey, cuz Michelle says, oh shoot, you have the main man. Yes.
What's
And
up,
then
Michelle?
she says, I love my intelligent cousins. And
Yeah, see,
Jonelle,
Michelle, me and Michelle talk about money stuff all the time.
I know that's right.
Yeah.
And Jonelle says, clear, the Zionists own America, and foreigners always bet on black. So, and that's the same thing Dr. Claude Anderson was saying,
Always bet on
that everybody else comes in our community,
It sets up their wealth.
and we're dumb enough to go ahead and,
We're
do
so
it.
friendly.
But another thing, and I'll get to these comments really quick, he also says that when we start a business, where do we go?
In the black community.
No, we try to go set up in the white community. The other
Oh,
communities,
right.
they like, and he says that white people do business with each other 95% of the time. Guess how often we do business with each other? 2% of the time.
2% of the time. Wow.
Okay, and let me address this point too, because I want to be clear, because I want to sometimes, and I wish we could go back and we can get rid of race and color, because one, that like if you're white, black, Puerto Rican, Haitian, whatever it is, if you let's get rid of all of our color, right?
Okay.
And let's just start from scratch. If you were purple and I was green and you were yellow, and we each got $1,000. Depending on what we did with that $1,000, it's going to determine our future.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we need to focus on. Like, the white people protect white people. Mexicans protect Mexicans. That's the way it's supposed to be.
Absolutely.
Black people have not learned from the Mexicans, the white,
Right.
the Jews, the Iranians.
Whoever.
For whatever reason, we hate ourselves. Black people, we do not like ourselves.
It was taught, and we just continue it.
I mean, like,
we further it.
yeah, and a lot of it was growing up and hearing about it in school, so I get it. Because I used to hate when slavery and roots came around. I was like, Greg, I get to sit through this shit again.
Exactly.
Right?
Again.
For the 20th time in school, I get to hear about slavery, right? That didn't do anything for us, but made me angry, made me want to stab Whitey, right? But we need to start focusing on ourselves, what we do with the money, and then worrying about making ourselves better. I promise you, if you wake up in the morning, you put on your best outfit, and you give it your best that day, sooner or later, you will become stronger. And the black people stop bitching and complaining. Like, if I hear the white man one more time, first of all, the white man, whatever the man,
whoever
is
this
never
guy
going to
is.
come back and say, I made a mistake, Negro, nigga, whatever it is. And he's not going to come back and say, hey.
Right, and then to that point, which is why we should be focusing on ourselves and stop focusing on other people, including businesses, right?
Yeah,
and Michi
stop talking
says,
about the white man, the Mexican man, because when I'm at
we
the
need
ATM,
to talk about ourselves,
I'm not
focus
looking
on
for
ourselves.
the white man, the black man, no, I'm looking for the robber.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because I'm worrying about me. So take care of you first.
Got it. And Michi says, happened years ago. She's talking about the car that she gave up, and that's how far behind we are. And my credit was jacked up, and she repaired it. Now she's doing good. She can get anything. I know you can, BFF. And Al says, former NFL Jet Darrell Revis played for 13 years and said on 60 Minutes interview he didn't buy a house until he finished playing. And then
He probably got money to the sky.
yeah, right. And then and Michelle says, Walter, call me, okay? And Huey says, thanks and stress. That's a fact. So that's why he had the stroke. He was saying stress. And Al says, why is it that most black people refuse to tip at a restaurant, grocery store, barbershop, etc.? And then Marcus,
I tip
go ahead.
when I go.
Yeah, I tip. And that's why I said, too, a lot of times we need to stop buying into a lot the stereotypes. Because I had a white professor when I was in going for my BA. He says, I don't tip. He says, in fact, I'll leave him a card with a little tip or something on there to get like some life advice. And this dude had businesses and money. He says, I'm not obligated to tip.
Right.
I will never. I mean, this was this man saying, like, I don't give them nothing.
Yeah, because he paid for the service. And
that's what he was saying. But I'm like, all right. But here we are, black people getting that stigma. Black people don't tip. And so Marcus says, what are specific steps by steps things to do to retire with? It says something.
Here, okay.
Because we're behind. That's why.
We're getting this question a lot. That's fine, but start with the end in mind. What is it you want, damn it?
How do you want to live?
Like, what is you like me? I know, like me and my two kids.
No,
We were talking. Like you could first of all figure out what the end looks like. I know right now I could go for $600 a month. I can live in Bangkok, Thailand. I can have a little house. You know what I'm saying? I can have me a Thai wife. For $1,000 a month, I can have 2 Thai wives.
Right, exactly.
And for $3,000, I can be in heels all the time.
Right.
I mean, like, figure out what it is that you want. Or if I go to Africa, Ethiopia, I don't care where it is. Beautiful women all over the world. I'm just being funny. But the point I'm making is figure out what you want the end to look like. You guys don't need $10,000 a month. You don't need baller status to retire.
Right.
Some of you guys could, like right now, you can go to Mexico, to Cancun, and for $400 a month, you could live right where you can see the ocean from your window.
Right.
Like, it's insane.
Yeah, there's a saying that there's almost 1.5 million people that live right there in the Tijuana area that they come over the border, Americans that are
It
going
look
over
like
there.
San Diego in Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
There's Americans. My boy George just bought a house.
Right.
Bought a house down there. You can see the water. We go to his house. You can see and hear the ocean. He paid like $85,000 or something like that for cash for a house. You can see the water an hour and a half from the border. Paid off cash. He always gonna have a place to go live.
Right.
And chill.
And Amanda says, I got 2 jobs and I only live off my first check. I pay bills with it and I save all my second job's checks. Don't ever buy anything I don't need. And
And she still probably got that black hatchback truck.
Right. Somebody sold her a Jeep for $300. Really nice.
Right on. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Amanda, that's our sister. She's
wait.
Miss Frugal.
Right, now I have a question though. When do you come to a point, like me, I've come to a point where I'm like, why am I saving money? My kids are grown, I've done everything I'm supposed to do. I'm saving this money for what? That's what I'm
for
spending.
you.
Right.
The hell with those kids.
Right, exactly.
And here's what I mean by that. I mean, you should take care of your kids. You know what you should do
Yeah.
for your kids? Leave them a plan and life insurance. That way, if something happens to you, they have money and a plan of what to do with it. One, two, is why you need money to save money, because one day you may be in a position to where you can't control your life. And let me tell you what scares me the most and what really got me saving and why I have millions of dollars in life insurance and, and lifestyle protection. Because if I had a stroke, let's just say I had a stroke, right? And let's say it was major and Dee was my caretaker. I'm living Dee's life.
Yes.
And I'm doing this show every week, and I want to be here every Sunday.
And I'm going to have a bell. Oh, Tisa!
You know what I'm saying? I'm going to be sitting up here
chilling.
I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be doing
No, he
Democrat
lied. I'm
stuff.
going to be like, hell!
You know what I'm saying?
Diaper going to be soiled for 2 weeks.
And that's probably the truth.
He's talking about, I'm in Cuba, I'll be back.
Yeah, I don't watch the same shows she watched.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We don't believe in a lot of the same things. But I would be under her control.
Right.
What if she got $800,000 in a written plan? Here's what Walter wants. He wants a masseuse. Here's her height, weight, and race. Number 1. 2, he likes to steak once a week. He wants a massage every day. Matter of fact, the massage table's in the closet to the left.
Okay.
Right? He wants to travel on vacation once a month. He wants to be in a different country. He likes fine foods. If you see my cooking show, you know I like to get down.
Yep.
So if I can't cook, I want her cooking. You know what I'm
So
saying?
basically, you don't want nobody guessing at what you want.
Okay.
So it's in writing, and me and my kids have this conversation all the time. It's funny, but they know if I had a stroke, the first thing I want, they know what I want.
Right, but
Pull the plug?
But pull the plug. No, but I have it in writing though. If I lose a limb, pull the plug.
Right.
If I'm in a condition where I can't focus, pull the plug.
What I'm saying is, there's a lot of people like me, like you work for the federal government, whatever. You got to check until the day you die. Why am I saving money?
Because the government may not always be there.
Really?
Oh, come on now. Do you realize that the government pension plans are in worse shape than private pension? Like, if you are a teacher or public employee, those pensions are so underfunded to the point they're thinking about getting rid of the property, the tax deduction on second homes, Proposition 13. They are going after Uber, Lyft, these independent contractors to try and fill the gap in these pension funds.
Okay.
These guys, sooner or later, are going to cut those pension funds. Like, and the reason they don't do it is because it's politics. If you are a teacher and you're getting $4,000 a month and you are 60, by the time just wait and see.
But like, I'm a federal employee, so as long as they're a federal government, I'm going to get a check.
Well, think about this. Think about the U.S. deficit right now.
Yeah. Okay.
How high is it? Now, that will be the last thing to go.
Right.
And I'm not saying it's going to go.
Right.
But so if you're getting a check, how about having extra money so you can have that check and then have, another check, maybe lifestyle.
And truth be told, and I'm just, speaking from a little bit of experience, a lot of us, I'm getting over flu, so excuse me, have a lot of time on our hands, right? So when I say a lot of time on our hands, a lot of us spend, and I don't, but we watch a lot of TV. So instead of watching, 20, I don't know how many hours of TV you watch a week or a day, but take some of those hours and maybe go get a part-time gig or start a part-time hobby or something. That's extra money. You're not making any money to watch TV all day. But if you were to go, I don't know, something 4 hours a day, 5 hours, however long, and put that money to the side, I mean, that's retirement, or help you start a business or something like that.
Think about this. This is crazy. I'm going to say something that's going to change the world. What if you can make $20 a day? Just think about it for 1 second. I keep dropping this mic. I'm hanging around my neck. But let's say, let's say you can make $20 a day. So all you got to do is go out and work 1 hour a day or do something to make $20. Knock on the door. Hey, you know what? Do you have anything in this house that you don't need? Pop in. This is like drop by yard sale. Do you have anything you don't need? Oh, I have this and that. I'll buy it from you. And if you did that 3 or 4 times, then you knocked on your neighbor's door, and then you turn around and sold that on eBay. Gary V, who's one of the guys that I follow, like me and my son Evan were talking about Gary V on the way. He does this thing where he goes to garage sales and buys things, and then he sells them on eBay.
Right. Flip them.
So he's like, I spent $1,000 for all this stuff, but I sold it on $20,000 on eBay. So if you can make,
that's what our dad does.
Right.
Right. I know Dre, he's a slinger. He just like, man, he would sell this cup if he thought it didn't belong to you. So $20. And people used to give Dre a hard time, me being one of them. I'm like, this dude, like, man, no, you can't sell that. I'm wearing it. But like, he's got his own business. His wife's not working. He's independent. And this is the last dude. When you looked at Dre 20 years ago, you went, oh, he gonna be independent one day. Right. $20 a day gives you $100 a week. Times 4,
$400 a month.
Gives you $400 a month. $400 a month over
a year.
Yes, $4,800 a year, but $400 a month at a 12% rate of return over 30 years is $1.4 million.
Wow.
Here's the thing, though. What if you made $10 a day? The hell with it. Let's break it down. What if you made $5 a day? What's 5 times? What is that? Times 5? $25 a month. Do you know if you say $25 a month? I'm sorry, a week. Okay, we ain't gonna break it down that far. So that's $25 a week times 4. It's $100 a month. $100 a month at 12%, 30 years is $350,000. How many people 70, 80 years old don't have $300,000?
No, I'd rather have my weed.
They want to have their weed and the swag and all these other things. So like, if you could save, is that right? That can't be right. $5 a day.
No, so it's $35. If you're talking about 7 days, so $35 a week.
Okay, no, I'm gonna give him 2 days off.
Okay.
You can't, because sometimes you gotta take some time off, right?
Okay.
And I'm a hustler too. I'm working right now, right?
Right.
But sometimes give yourself a break, right? If you want to work 7 days like Gary Vee, some of these other guys, like do that. But like, give yourself some time. So that's $5 a day, right? That can't be right. It's $25 a week. That's $100 a month.
All right.
That gives you, for a year, if you did that, you would have $1,200. You can start a business.
So I'm gonna blow through some of these comments because I can see I'm way back up on yours.
Blow through them.
And so Al says, my stepdad is on life support for a month. So on a visit to the hospital, I unplugged the cord to charge up my phone. Stupid. Amanda says, her house may not be standing. She got drama. And Chantel says, what are the basic investments to make to start bringing money in instead of money going out, but we answered those already.
We answered that question.
Yeah,
but
because we're behind.
Let me deal with the Mondas thing really, really quick. So I know my sister, she got her house for a really good price. She's been in that house for as long as I can remember. Right? And it's not the most fabulous. It's a nice house. But you know what it is? It's paid.
She bought it brand new. First person to live in the house.
Yeah. So now we've been there a bunch of times. I'll be there this weekend.
In case you haven't heard.
It's and I just made that decision this morning to go to Cuba and to Florida. Right? But when you have your own stuff and you taking the risk, you can just disappear like that.
Right.
I'll be back. But so do stuff like that. Don't tell me you can't make $5 a day. Now, if I say this to the white man, to the Jewish man, to the Mexican man, to the Asian man, you know what they're going to do right now? We need to have a family meeting.
Right.
So I just realized $5 a day, which means I can go home and work 1 hour. That means you make $5 an hour, which makes you slave labor. But it's what you do with that $5. That's $100 a month.
Right.
If you say, if you're 30, 40, 50, and you do that for 30 years at a decent rate of return, you will have hundreds of thousands of dollars. Period. And then you can take that money, buy a house. Matter of fact, you can take 100 to France, 100,000 to Thailand. You can see where my mind is, right? You can go down Mexico. You gotta do a trust. My boy George can help you with that. It's a yearly trust, but he spent 85 grand on this beach house. So for 300,000, I could have houses in 3 countries paid off, rent those 3 houses out, and then I could float about the world.
All right.
It's that simple.
And I'm going to go through some of these comments. And
go for them.
Janelle says, majority of us need to be turning our leaf money into gold and silver. We be wise to invest in gold and silver coins as the rich are doing. And Chantel says, so $5 on the Stash app for 5 years means what? So $5 a day or $5 a week, depends on, because Stash is stock, so depending on what you actually invest in it, it can mean a whole host of things. But you can also just save the money in there and keep it for yourself, or you can invest it.
Yeah, but there's like Acorn. There's Betterment. There's different plans where you can put money away $5 at a time, and you can do that. And so now what happens is you create. See, $5 a day isn't going to make you wealthy right away, but what it's going to do is create a habit. Habits are what make people poor. I swear to you. And my sister would tell you this. There was a time I had a Mercedes when I had my black card. I had like my ex, my kids are sitting here. They were too young, but we were traveling. My ex, she didn't have a job. We come to the house. They'd have 5 pizzas sitting. We wanted to taste test. We had, what's her name, Espy. Up until recently, she lived with us forever. I was blowing money. But now I'm like, no. You need to create a habit, and you need to get pissed off like I am right now, because you need to get, what is that?
A cat.
Oh, it's a cat. Lord have mercy.
It's Mr. Tyler.
Oh, all right.
Mr. Tyler.
It's your house. So you have to get pissed off to the point, and I mean you have to get mad at yourself.
Hey, Shelly.
And make a move. Otherwise, you're going to struggle. I'm tired of hearing about the white man. I'm tired of hearing about the rich people. And stop listening to these politicians, too. The billionaires and the millionaires. If I want to get to Elizabeth Warren, I want to cut the brakes on her car mentally.
But he's just playing.
But no, here's what I'm saying. What the hell is wrong with a millionaire and a billionaire? Like, so I'm in the land of the free, and I want to get rich, and that makes me the devil? Y'all gotta stop.
And she's a millionaire herself.
And she's a millionaire. She's like, Bernie Sanders, like when Michael Bloomberg entered the race, we don't have space for billionaires. You know who should be in classrooms teaching kids? Billionaires, millionaires, because what you see now is the Michael Bloomberg that's rich. What you don't see is when he first started, and all the stress, and all the crap he went through to get, and not the hundreds of thousands of jobs, by the way, that these people create.
Would you agree that spending, let's say, 30 minutes with a millionaire or billionaire is more advantageous than, just that knowledge alone, just getting, from that person?
First of all, when I'm with a group, I try and be the poorest person in the room.
Well, damn.
And when I say poorest, I mean like
I know what you mean, right?
Because
you want to be absorbing knowledge.
When I'm sitting with somebody that's doing better, I am learning from them.
Right. You want to learn the knowledge.
And here's some successful people and rich people. What they don't do is they don't criticize. And they don't waste your time. Period. Like if somebody is about their money and success, they want to get to the point.
Okay.
So, surround yourself with people that are doing better. And like, when you're up in church, when you're religious, if you're Catholic, whatever it is, ask your minister, what can I do to better myself now? Because it's cool that when I die, I'm going to go to heaven.
Yeah,
but I
no.
don't want to go through hell until I get there.
Right.
It makes no sense to me.
Amen.
Like,
Amen.
and I'm not going to kill, I
Yeah.
have friends that are in
So I got a quick yes or no answer question for you. Al says, I like how you always look clean each time I see you. Have you ever thought about having a clothing line or a barbershop business?
Hell yes. I got a clothing line. I got one called Coulter that's already in the works, and I got one called the Provocative. It's underwear for adults.
Okay.
All right now, okay.
Is that the one with the elephant ears?
Yeah, no, not the
Okay.
elephant ears. No, it's just a clean adult underwear line.
So what's happening, Shelly? Thank you so much. She says a great topic. Reginald, what's happening? And Al says,
I got ideas.
Demetra on the comments, remember that EPMD song, The Takeover. So he said,
Yes,
I need
The
to
Takeover.
cut y'all off. And Jonelle says, let's see. Let's say, you could only deal and eliminate race if we were playing on a balanced and just field, which shows why our own state of reality is necessary for our true success. Anything established on and within a biased system is on allowance and is not on a solid foundation. We as a black nation must establish our base, our built outside of this nation. Okay. And then Al says, BB, that's me. I won't tell you what that means. The one thing that I said I had an issue on, I won't ever complain about again. I can't remember what that is because that'd be a lot of stuff sometimes. And Al says, this is the executive producer and the band is playing the music. And Chantel says,
We still got 15 minutes.
we got to the end. Yes, it's, Chantel says specifics. What would $50 a month in marijuana stock do to a 5 to 10 year period?
Okay, so for the adults that are listening to this, let's have this conversation, right? I own a stock called ACB. It's Aurora Cannabis. I own Canopy Growth, right? Canopy Growth. They just did a deal with Drake in Canada. Drake has his own marijuana company. They're partnering to sell marijuana because Canada is now becoming legal. In the U.S., they're getting closer to making it federally, so everyone can use it. So you can buy the stock Aurora Cannabis right now. Oh Lord, it's trading.
It's at $2.
It was at $1.
Whoop it! But I keep buying them though. I'm gonna keep buying them.
It was at $2,
Yeah.
but it's going down. You dollar cost average. Like I look for stocks that are getting their ass kicked. Canopy Growth was like, was it $80 or something? 50, and now it's at like 10.
Okay, let me go in and get that one too.
But or I don't know. No, it's at $20, but it got killed. The point but you buy
low
things when they're having problems.
Right.
So you can do that, or this is a little more advanced, is you can buy the stock option. I can spend $1 and I can control that stock for 3 to 6 months, the gain and the losses of it by having the option. So stock options are the rich man's tool, but poor people, middle class, whoever it is, you can use them. But so those are some of the things I would do. I would look to getting into things that are going to be around long term, like marijuana, like food's gonna be around.
Well, put it like this: the marijuana stock in particular, when the federal government finally approves it, let's say it's 5 years from now, and you've been buying stock at $2, $3, or $10, whatever. That'll be like, let's say 100. Let's say you got 100 shares, and they say, boom, it's ready to go. Government says it's good. How much money would that be down the road?
Let me tell you what's gonna happen, and I'm not here promoting marijuana stocks. That's not. I'm answering the question. What's going to happen most likely with marijuana is one day the government, and here's what's happening right now. They're getting all their boys ready. They're in boardrooms. Okay, we're going to make it legal, but how do we benefit from it?
Right.
Because then you walk into a McDonald's one day, and they got a marijuana cookie, or they got a marijuana shake. And it sounds funny right now, but like, think about it. Something that's legal is legal. So these big corporations right now are just starting to get into the game, but you see some of these big companies. It's kind of like with banks and Bitcoin. People laughed at Bitcoin, but now you got JP, you got Goldman Sachs. Now you got these people taking a serious look at Bitcoin, right? So get in stuff that is you have to look long term,
Right.
Long term,
and stop. And I'm gonna address some of these other comments I saw. I get it. Like this is we can have some fun sometimes, but like we need to get to business. Black people are in the worst economic shape, physical shape and we are the fastest, the strongest people in the world, but we are in the worst. We are in the worst economic shape. And to black people, we can be funny, but everything ain't funny.
Right.
Sometimes you got to get to the point, because we are getting our asses whooped. Period.
Right, but let me get back to that. What I was saying, with the stock thing. Okay, let's say you do that for 10 years. You buy $2 worth of stock, whatever deal is. Like you said, it goes back to having a habit because you don't have to just wait till the stock hits. You can take out of that and cash that stock out. Let's say after 10, 12 years. I'm just saying, but it's getting to that habit.
The habit of saving. Here's the other thing too. If those of you who follow me on social media, Friday night on my storyline I think it was Friday night. Or was it Thursday night? Is I have CNBC playing on my storyline.
Oh, I think it was Friday night.
So that was what I did Friday night. I was watching So here's I'm like the nutty professor. I have Yahoo Finance playing on my TV. I have Bloomberg on my phone on my E-Trade account when I'm trading stocks, and I have CNBC on my laptop. I have all three of them playing at the same time. What the hell are you watching when you're at home? Like me and my son were talking. I said no one's watching CNBC right now. So when I bought the Aurora cannabis stock, and then I bought the Canopy, and then I bought NIO, which is an electric car company in China. So now Chinese are buying electric cars. So I bought NIO, it's NIO. I bought that stock. It's getting crushed right now, and I hope it gets crushed to death so I can buy it cheap.
Yeah, that's what I was doing. To Chantel's point with the marijuana stocks, you guys said Aurora that's taking a hit. But I just go in and I just buy some. I just buy it because I know eventually it's gonna blow up.
It's $2. Think about it.
Yeah, it's lower than that now.
If you spent $100 a month on this, and I'm not promoting
this
stock.
That's a glass of Starbucks.
Think about it.
And you can Starbucks buy more than that.
Think about this. You can buy 50 shares. I don't care what the stock is. 50 shares of this particular stock. For $100, 50 shares. If you did that every month, and you looked out 10 years later, and McDonald's was like, "Welcome to the marijuana cookie," and they were the producer. Think about Tesla stock, Amazon stock right now.
Like $1,300.
If you bought Amazon stock when they first came out, you put $10,000 in that. You got Baileys everywhere. Exactly. It's ridiculous.
Exactly. But I thought it was very important that you said getting to the habit of saving, because that's what I put a lot of stuff in the stocks. I never see it, and I'm just saving the money, and then I'm looking at the end of the year, and I say, I got like $10,000, and that's just in stash.
Right.
I'm just like,
but here's the issue. This part of the conversation is where we lose most black people.
Yeah.
And you know what?
You're right.
Walter read my mind. And and thank you to you guys who are keeping in there, and I'm going to get to your comment, Chantel. I'm going to say this too, and I'm not trying to offend anybody, so if you take offense, it wasn't my intentions, but oftentimes, as Walter said, and we all talk about this a lot on this show, we are, as black people, at the bottom of everything on the planet. Health, wealth, and everything in between. And we are the biggest consumers. Here in this book here, it says, consuming is a negative in a capitalistic society. Yes. It says, we are nearly 100% consumers and 0% producers. And with that, I'd like to add that we are the biggest consumers of entertainment, right? So what I'm saying is, if the information is not sexy and we're not always kikiing and ha-haing and joking, then it's like, oh, okay, well, I'm bored. I don't want nothing to do with it. Right, but I guarantee you, if we was up here cooning and clicking and, twerking and, acting silly, we'd have a lot of people on here. And I'm like, you know what? This is for the big leagues. This is for people who really want to move the ball forward as far as black people, because I guarantee you, while you're being entertained, you're also being passed up. Yeah. Right? So, and it's going to, let me finish. And it's going to be the people who are paying attention, who are going to be relied upon to carry the weight. As Marcus Garvey said, there's no doubt that because when he was trying to take black people back to Africa, there's black people who are no good here, and no doubt there'll be no good over there. And so it'll be those people who are paying attention to this type of advice, who's going to take it. Then the people who are going to be left behind are going to want the people who paid attention to help them and drag their asses along. Right, so again, like I said, this ain't for everybody. And I'm glad it ain't for everybody, because this is exclusive. It should be, but everybody ain't going to take part of it. I'm done.
So no, at the end of the day, create. There's a good book. It's called The Slight Edge. I'm sorry, Jeff Olson. He's a white dude. I apologize.
Look for I tagged him. So real quick, Chantel, I tagged Walter, so you can click on his name and you'll be able to find him.
You can go to my Facebook page. It's all travel and food, right?
So I tagged him on this link here, so you can find him on there.
I said not you. Lately, I've been doing more investment stuff. And let me tell you, so why don't you go do this? Open an E-Trade account, Ameritrade, you can Robinhood.
Robinhood.
Right? Open one of these accounts and you can
$5.
buy, I'm telling you, you can buy, this is like
80 cents sometimes.
this is insane. Like kids, like third graders in school, their teachers should say, okay, you know, we're going to spend 30 minutes a day and we're going to talk about saving our future investments. Like when you guys get out of this school after being a slave for 12 years, what do you, like, you're going to leave here with money. You're going to leave here with something to do. So we can start that right now. Like open an account, put money into it. And here's what happens too. Like when I'm watching CNBC, like Jim Cramer, I like him, you know, Mad Money. Jim Cramer is crazy dude, but he's throwing out tips like this.
Exactly.
Buy this stock, buy this stock. And even if you don't buy stock, the fact that you watch
Know
it
about it.
will make you, your mind, your reticular activator will focus on that. So now when I hear, oh, Coca-Cola's doing this, I go, oh, let me look it up. Or like I heard that Drake was investing. He had his own cannabis company, and he was getting with Canopy, who is owned 37% by Constellation Brands that owns Modelo and Corona. So when I hear Constellation Brands that owns Corona owns 37% of Canopy, which is doing a deal with Drake to sell marijuana, I'm like, sounds like a clue to me.
Yeah. Mike Tyson, he has a marijuana. He's growing marijuana. The stuff agriculture. He says he smokes like 40,000 a month. But you know,
I believe Mike Tyson smoked that much.
Yeah, but the point is, you know, he's at that part, and you take that part because who's going to be buying his marijuana as it, like you said, it's going to be a part, be a part.
And Gilbert says, hello Gilbert, by the way. He says, I appreciate his knowledge.
Yeah. And sometimes I'm more of the radical. Like if right now I'm being like, I'm out of 10, I'm being 2 because there's a part of me. There's a part of me that most 99% of people cannot deal with the way that I really think, because I wake my black ass up. If me and Evan were just having this conversation, I don't get enough sleep. Right, Morgan, they be beating me up. But like, get up early, work, take naps, and then always be looking for something to do. You can work. You can work around the clock. Like if you're at home Netflixing and you're broke, that's your problem. Now, if you're gonna be Netflixing, be working on something else too.
Right.
Period. Stop doing that to yourself. Stop blaming the white man for everything.
Yeah, and I kind of do this with the stocks too. If there's something that I have, like, okay, I have a Sprint phone. I'm figuring, well, if I'm paying in the Sprint, I might as well be part of owner, so I go get some Sprint stock, which is at $6 an hour.
I know.
On the move. You know, so I'm thinking, hey, you know.
I know Sprint, they be talking merger talks with Sprint, but you know what? Like this conversation here is a conversation I like to. I like to talk about money, investments. This is the stuff that, like, do you realize one of the richest people in the world, Robert Smith, he is an African-American hedge fund manager.
He gave all that money to Morehouse.
Billionaire. He paid off the student loans.
Oh, yeah.
You know what the media did? Is they came after him and started bringing all his weaknesses. And I'm like,
right.
Did you just say there is a billionaire brother that runs a hedge fund? Like, wait a minute. Let's talk about... But you know what, Robert Smith? He can't go in public and talk like that because black people don't want to hear that. Oh, he's a billionaire. He's da-da-da-da-da. Hey, Robert, how did you get to be a billionaire? I don't care about the loopholes and the tax laws for the rich. Hey, dummy, if there's a tax loophole for the rich, it's also there for the poor, too.
Yes.
Period. The problem is poor people don't use... And they're not loopholes, by the way. They're rules.
They're rules.
Tax rules.
Period. Exactly. And if you want to get pissed about an organization, get mad at your bank. And why don't you watch a video tonight on fractional lending?
Yes.
And see how that works. And then hit me back about rights and loopholes and rules.
Absolutely.
So learn the money rules. These are the conversations we should be having.
Right.
Period. We're not.
Well, with 12 years to go till zero, I mean, the countdown.
That's what it's saying, that black wealth is going to be collectively zero in 12 years.
I believe that. And I'll just tell you why. Because it's not just black wealth.
Yeah.
Everybody's wealth. White people, Mexicans, Asians.
It's going to
They
decline.
are
But ours
scared.
is
The least of it.
Yeah, we have the least assets.
It is, on average, black households have $15,000 compared to that of $170 for white households.
You want to hear something scary? And I'm not predicting this, but like I hear people talk about black people going back to slavery. Think about this for a second. If our wealth disappeared and we became irrelevant financially, what do you think we'd become?
Exactly.
Well, hell, we're damn near that anyway.
Yeah, we're right there.
That is true, but I'm talking about like on a real level.
Real level, yeah.
What do you do with people
who are not producing
and don't have power?
Well, that's what Dr. Claude Anderson says. He says we are already the labor force.
Right.
whether we want to believe it or not.
But when they take the labor force from us and we're just sitting here idle.
Right, which is what's going on now through AI. Andrew Yang talks about that. He says through AI, the labor force is going away. We're seeing that every day. And so being that we're the labor force, where are we going to go work if we don't have any businesses?
And crazy part is I don't agree with everything he says, but Andrew Yang is not far. The only problem my problem with him is he goes after rich people. It's not rich people's fault. It's everybody's fault because everyone has the opportunity to be rich. Number one. Number two, we talked about AI. I was at a winery in Temecula, and this Tesla backed up, and I looked, and there was nobody in the car, and so we thought the person was killed off, because old people be at the old white people be at the winery, so I just assumed there was some drunk old white dude leaned over in the car, right? And so I opened my door to go help this dude, and no one's in the car. And so I'm like, we're looking around, and the car stopped and pulled up again, backed up, pulled up, backed up, and made a corrective turn. And I saw it pull up in the valet and pick up these dudes. And so I go and I go, dude, what the hell is that? He goes, oh, I'm controlling the car with my phone.
Yeah, it's like that James Bond movie, Tomorrow Never Dies.
I know you're talking about.
The thing, and he was driving it. Same thing.
His Tesla is being controlled by remote control. That used to be a valet driver.
Ain't that some mess?
That is
now they're
insane.
So now they're going to be out of work.
It's cold. I can hit the button, start my car. It's warm. It pulls up the valet. I get in it. The valet dude is out of a job. That is a everybody problem.
Yes.
Period.
Yes.
And let's see here. And so we're going to get out of here in just a second. So it's okay.
It's true.
I tag Walter's name in here for those of you guys who want to contact him. It's on there. I pinned it actually. And Patricia, what's happening? She says, this has given me some ideas. Thank you for this discussion. Very, very informative. Glad it was very informative.
Yes.
I hope it helped somebody. As you said, it helped you.
Check the link, Walter Coulter. I mean, you get a lot of good information. I mean, I wasn't on my job until I started.
And Donovan is financially sound, but
Yeah, Donovan's sitting over here like he's over here chilling. He got cats. A black man with cats is financially independent.
And Romel, what's happening?
Romel.
He says out here in Paris too. Mike owns land here.
Okay.
And then Wendy, what's happening? Says wealth is for all who take interest and become educated in wealth creation. Bless, absolutely. And then Jonelle says the rich rules over the poor, and the borrower is us. I think that's what you're saying. We are the borrowers. I try to say that 5 times. I'm sorry. And I'm sorry. The borrower is the slave to the lender. I didn't see the rest of the comment. Proverbs 22:7. Hey, Nita, what's happening? And Michi, you said yes. You're all the truth. And so that is the end of the comments. I don't see any more comments.
Yeah, so you got to come back occasionally and give us a few more tips, whenever you're in the area.
And here's something that we're doing. Like me and my son Miles, we started a company called Cornucopia. CORNACOPA.com. Our website just went up. Okay. What we've done is we've created a life enhancement firm. And here's the reason why. One thing I realized as a financial planner is that it's not always, save money and you're going to have this one day. What people need is have quality of life. So what we're doing now is teaching people how to travel, teaching them mental toughness, teaching them how to cook, teaching them how to communicate, teaching them things that make them feel better. And then we're backing it with a financial background, making sure you have the right life insurance, critical illness, put some money away. So doing those things, like first of all, figure out what you want. Like you want to retire in 5 years? What do you want?
What's your plan? Right.
Write down the top 3 things that you want in your life. Me, I want to travel the world, and I want to drink wine in foreign places. I want to do the samba and whatever. You know what I'm saying? I want to go to Africa and I want to go to Ethiopia. There's things I want to do. One, I love food. I love to cook. Me and my kids and my friends. You've been to my house. Every time you come to my house, I'm cooking.
I can't never eat nothing.
Salmon, all that good stuff.
You know what I'm saying? I got lamb chops. I got the Donovan Porterhouse.
Everything.
So I enjoy hanging out, with my family and doing things. So figure out what it is that you want to get done and start putting your efforts on that. Get you some good books. There's plenty of books out there that you can read. They have the mentor box. It's $7 a month. I'm not getting paid from Ty, not yet. But it's $7 a month. You can have the books. There's the masterclass.com. You see Ann Wintour from Vogue and people.
Thank you, Arson.
$80 a month.
Wow.
I mean, $80 a year or $90 a year to have access to all those business people
Who
teach
have
you
knowledge,
what
right.
they do. Like $90 a year. It's insane. When I saw it, I thought it was a joke.
And then you also have, these books by these two great men, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and Dr. Claude Anderson, and a whole host of other people.
I do want to read. I mean, I've seen this book here because I got a copy of it. This book I want to read.
Yeah, go ahead.
I want to get an idea of, everything that he's thinking. I keep hearing his name over and over and over. So at the end of the day, folks, damn it, you have to save money, and you have to realize who you are. Like we are, and I'm talking about us as a race at the moment, are kings, queens, like literally we are. And believe what you want about us being, are we the original people? I believe that's the case. I was watching the movie 2012, The End of the World.
Yeah.
And at the end of the movie, the only country that didn't get flooded was Africa. Right? I thought that was cool. But we have to start acting like that.
Absolutely.
A king and queen, we don't do certain things. We don't get out in public and act that way. We treat ourselves better.
Royalty.
And stop listening to these. Rap music is just rap music. It's
it
entertainment. It's not a lifestyle.
Right.
They're not slapping hoes and knocking out COs in their real life. Snoop Dogg has a house in Claremont.
Right.
Right up the street.
It's like crazy. Like all the Ice Cube, these guys, like they live in the street because they want to be in the safe place.
And real quick, since you're talking about entertainers and rappers and stuff like that, Walter has worked with a whole host of entertainers and rappers. So can you just really quick talk about the real lifestyle of a rapper? So is what we see the real deal?
First of all, most of them don't live that way.
Yes.
Most of them, like I'll leave this group nameless, but we were on a music set. And then after the set was up, they came back and got all their jewelry.
Yeah,
so when it comes to jewelry, Jacob the jeweler would come back and they would grab all the jewelry. They would grab the clothes, the jackets, the fur coats. They would come. That stuff is all. Most of the stuff is rented.
Rented, yeah.
So when rappers see that rap lifestyle, most of those guys end up broke because first of all, to live that way, it costs a bunch of money, and you never hear rappers say, "Oh, I got 20 racks." But like half of that belonged to the IRS.
Right.
Other half, I gotta take care of my kids. I got my life insurance. They don't talk about that. So a lot of those people, they don't live those those lifestyles. And it's not just rappers. Johnny Depp. It's like, who spends $30,000-$40,000 a month on wine?
Talk about someone like Nipsey Hussle.
Like Nipsey. So I actually spent some time. I was at Jay-Z's Christmas party. His one of my clients, the one that wrote Boot Up. We were there, and I was talking to Nipsey. This is when Nipsey Hussle. He's like, "I'm the nigga, I'll kill you." But like, we were sitting there, and he was like, "Yo, man, I got you a seat." I was like, "Huh?" I was like, "Nipsey Hussle saved me a seat. What's up?" And I was with my boy B, and Nipsey was just so down to earth. He had on a white T-shirt and Adidas pants and some Adidas shoes. And he is worth millions. And he's just, if you see, he didn't have like a giant Bentley outside.
Yeah, he's kind of like a Mark Zuckerberg, just a shirt and just what he eats. Just enough.
But Nipsey Hussle was building a community. He was buying that block there. And then what he was talking about, he was doing. And it's unfortunate now we're hearing about most of it.
Yeah.
So a lot, like even when I worked with Kanye, and I'm not going to put his business in the street, but we built his credit, we bought assets, and we did things that put him in a situation where he could be stronger. We got his life insurance, his disability insurance. We set up a retirement. I set up Kanye's his original 401k, his business. I set that up for him. That's the stuff I focused on with him, and it took me a lot to get his attention.
Notice, once he had all that set up, then Kim Kardashian came into the picture.
and Kim has her own. I mean, Kanye
But what I'm saying, once he was set up, that's when she comes up to the
And so I got two questions here for you.
Kanye's brilliant too.
So everybody's saying thank you for inviting Walter on. And Marcus says, when is the next financial? And Patricia wants to know, what is the link to your life, to your firm? So it's. I guess I can pin it.
Yeah, you can pin it.
Let me try to pin it here.
The website, it's Cornucopia. If you just go to www.cornucopia.com, you can go there to the website. You can send us an email. Our phone number's on there.
Got it.
And I'm on social media most of the time, but I'm doing traveling stuff. We went paintballing yesterday. That's the stuff I enjoy.
Is that how you do it?
Yep. I'm not wearing my glasses.
Okay, so I got COPA.com.
Yeah, not Coca-Cola, but
Yeah,
cornucopia.
Cornucopia.
And we'll also put the link on there for you guys on YouTube as well if you're interested. So
Yeah,
I'll go ahead and put it here.
But if you contact me, I want to get to the point. I want to get to the money.
Yeah.
I don't care what happened to you in your past.
Right.
Let's just, what's going on with you? Let's
I
just
think
start
I'm about to
saving
leave you
some money.
guys. I
So,
think
yeah.
No, it's not gonna make me leave. Okay,
No,
I thought it was
that's
gonna
fine.
take me to your website.
No, don't go there right now.
Okay,
I'm
right.
not- we can't answer the phone. My son is at the beach and I'm
Okay,
sitting right
so
here.
she got it. Okay, cool. Woo.
Don't call now, right? But no,
It's the
but-
weekend. It's Sunday. Yeah,
and
it's
right. Yeah, I consider this fun.
Yeah,
This is because I like talking about money and educating.
So the next
people.
finance show, I tell everybody who's a guest on here, they're more than
Let us
welcome to
know.
come back anytime. So whenever Walter's a man of the world.
But go to his website.
Yeah, so you guys, whenever he's want to come on, you guys want to talk more about finances and things like that, I'm sure he'd be more than happy to do that.
Or maybe we'll do a show in Havana.
Right.
Now, you know what? Now that's what we ought to be talking about. You got your passports, right?
Yes, of
I know you got
course,
your
yes,
passport.
of course.
We can have. Actually, Cuba don't have internet. They keep their people locked out.
Yeah.
They want them to see nothing going on.
And Marcus
No.
asked, how much does it cost to get you to do a seminar in a specific location?
I don't charge you to do seminars. If you got 20, 30 people in the room and they want to learn, I'll do it for free.
Oh, wow.
Here's the other thing I'm doing too.
You hear that, Marcus?
Here's why I'm going to Cuba and I'm going to France. Is I'm going to buy cigars from Cuba and wines from France, and I'm going to give those away at my seminars while we talk about money. So I don't charge you to do the seminars. I get when people invest and they get insurance and they come to me.
The substance of it.
I'm gonna make money. It just is what it is.
Right.
I'm gonna make money out of the situation. You just show up and I'll figure out how to help you and help me at the same time.
Absolutely.
There
Yeah,
you
it
have
is.
it.
Yeah.
So anyway, I don't see any more questions, comments, or concerns, but I'll address them as we leave here. As always, thank you so much, you guys, for Facebook for being the other side of the conversation. Those of you guys on YouTube, thank you so much again. If you haven't already, please like
YouTube.
and
I'm sorry.
subscribe.
I
Yes.
feel like I've been
Once
doing
again,
YouTube.
this was the fabulous
There you go.
Walter Coulter.
Yes.
You guys, I put his information up if you want to get a hold of him. We'll have him back whenever he's available. As I said, as always, game-changing information. As always, thank you to Donovan for everything that he does. He tolerates me. And the production, everything. And the Marcus guiding you are
Yes.
wonderful. Thank you
Put
for
the links
everything
out
you
there.
do behind the scenes. And so we are going to get out of here. We will see you guys on Friday as we do Free Flow Friday. I don't know
Yes.
what we're going to talk about or who may be here. But anyway, you guys will be here, right? And so as always, have a great week. We'll see you guys later. Peace.